I'm just gonna get this out of the way before everybody and their mom comments about this, okay? Yes, my hair out of control. I'm gonna get it cut soon. I'm waiting till I go back to my hometown, then I'll get it cut. So know what you're thinking then. Why not just get it cut where you are in the current city? I can't, okay? My barber is in my hometown. And here's the deal. You cannot cheat on your barber. Everybody talks about, not cheating on your spouse, and that's true. It's one of the worst things you can do, tears apart families, causes like irreparable damage. Yeah, all that jazz, right? But cheating on your barber is never talked about. Just put yourself in your barber's shoes for a second, okay? You're walking by, enjoying your day, you walk by a random barber shop and you see your client whose hair you have been cutting for years getting a haircut from another man. That's detrimental. Like, look, honestly, gun to my head scenario, if I had to choose between cheating on my future spouse and cheating on my barber, let's just say I'd be looking real lined up in divorce court. Anyways, today we are getting into driving habits that you might actually think are safe, but are actually dangerous, okay? A lot of you guys try and do your best on the road, try and do safe things, try and help others, right? But you're not helping. You're actually doing things that are super dangerous that you may not even know about, okay? So this is what this video is about. Hairline reveal at 100K. Follow me on Instagram down below. We're picking up some motion on there. And join my Discord. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Everybody's favorite tier time. We got actually good. Some of these are actually good. Indifferent. Indifferent. Hold up. Sorry, guys. You're going to see a live typo here. Boom. Indifferent. Unsafe. Okay. Highly dangerous, and finally could be fatal. Let's get into the video. Starting up, we have stopping to let pedestrians jaywalk. Here's the deal about jaywalking. Now, I have beef with pedestrians on a regular basis. I've mentioned this in my videos before. But if you're jaywalking and it's not inhibiting cars, completely fine. But here's my issue with jaywalking. It's when it actually gets to the point where you're seriously inhibiting traffic. Now, this seems obvious, but a lot of people still do it. A lot of pedestrians treat everywhere like a crosswalk. Like whatever road they want to walk across, they think it's a crosswalk. What a lot of cars will then do is when they see a pedestrian waiting to jaywalk, right, they will stop and let them through. Now you think this is an insane habit. Who could possibly be doing this? Hopefully not any Jimmy Drives viewers, but a lot of people do this to try and be nice. Now the problem with this is obvious. First, they're breaking a rule, so don't stop your regular flow of traffic, you being a law-abiding citizen, to let a pedestrian break a rule. And secondly, it's just so annoying. You're inhibiting traffic. And third, if it's a multi-lane road and one car lets a pedestrian walk and another car that hasn't stopped going in another lane may not stop for this pedestrian, and that could be very, very dangerous. I think at most this is just very annoying, but there are the rare cases, so I'm going to put this at highly dangerous to balance it out. Next up, we have always stopping at yellows. Now look, if you have plenty of time to react to a yellow, fair enough, but the issue comes when you are always stopping at yellows. So many drivers will legitimately not quite slam on the brakes, but hard brake for a yellow. And if you're at the point where you have to like hard slam on the brakes for a yellow, there's no point. You might as well just run it. And what's the issue with people who slam on the brakes for these like fresh yellows, let's call them? First of all, they might not make it in time. Like you might actually end up being slightly in the intersection. Not a big deal, but inconvenient and a little bit unsafe. But more importantly, if someone behind you is also trying to make the yellow, they're probably going to speed up a bit and maybe tailgate you a bit. Now, are they supposed to do that? Is it good practice for them to do that? Absolutely not, right? But you got to bear in mind that this is something that people will do. So knowing that, you have to predict that, hey, if a car is close behind me, I should not be slamming on the brakes for the yellow. I should be as predictable as possible. I'm going to put this in unsafe. Next up, we have overusing hazards. Now, hazards are a very important tool. If there's something wrong with your car, like critical condition, throw on your hazards, right? So maybe you have a flat and you're trying to get to safety, but some people take this too far, okay? Some people throw on their hazards. It feels like almost for fun. We're like, what are you even putting your hazards on for? Like a minor inconvenience or something's up, they throw on their hazards. Now, in general, I'd say like better safe than sorry. But the only issue I'd say with overusing hazards is that you get this kind of boy who cried wolf scenario where it's like, if you're always using your hazards, like what do hazards even mean anymore? It's like The Incredibles, like with everybody super, no one can be anymore. I would in most cases save hazards for like actual important cases. For that reason, I'm going to put it indifferent. I don't think it's actually unsafe to use hazards, but it's something to bear in mind that you may be overusing them. Next up, we have over shoulder checking. Now, this is a habit that I feel like is kind of drilled in by driving schools a little bit, okay? Because they value shoulder checking so much. Now, look, am I anti-shoulder check? No, shoulder check. Shoulder check, right? Do it. But this is actually one of the habits that I had the hardest time kicking because shoulder checking was such a robotic process for me, which is good, but sometimes you'll overdo it to the point where you're looking over your shoulder more than you're actually looking straight. Whenever you're making a lane change or something like that, always shoulder check, but you don't have to do it for more than like a split second to check your blind spots. What you should be doing is relying on your rear view and side mirrors for the most part, and then only checking your shoulder quickly to see your blind spots, like really quickly. probably two of my few like near crashes kind of in my lifetime were when I over shoulder checked and I looked forward. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm kind of getting close to the car that stopped ahead of me. So for that reason, you want to be careful that you're just doing a quick shoulder check. You should not have your head over your shoulder for more than like, I don't know, half a second. I'm honestly, guys, going to put this in could be fatal. If you're overdoing this, this could have very bad consequences. Shoulder check, but be careful not to overdo it. There's a thin line. Next up, we have improper high beam use for visibility. Now, first of all, a lot of the times you don't need your high beams. Only use your high beams when you're on a darker road at night or in bad weather, which makes sense, right? People are following along so far, but this is when it becomes really bad. And this is when you're not super diligent about turning them off for an oncoming car. If you're on a 1 lane on each side road and there's an oncoming car and it's super dark, it's already hard to see around. And then add on the fact that if you have your high beams on, especially if it's like a Tesla or a big truck, right, where the high beams are especially bright, the oncoming car facing you is going to be straight up blinded. You will literally make it with that combination of the dark road and your high beams so that they cannot see a thing ahead of them. And if you can't even see ahead of you for even 2 seconds when you're driving your car, that could be fatal, especially on these dark back roads. So the correct thing to do is use your high beams until you see a car oncoming in the distance, and then well ahead of time before you're near them, turn off your high beams and then turn them back on once the car has passed. This should be common sense, but so many people are not careful about this. This is something you have to be so careful about, okay? And the auto high beam feature, yeah, it may work 90% of the time, but sometimes it's a little slower, it's a little later, it just doesn't work. Always just manually be ready with the high beams. I'm honestly going to put this in could be fatal. If you're blinded for 2 seconds behind the wheel, you could straight up crash pretty easily. So yeah, could be fatal. Next up, we have cars that are scared to pass cyclists or just straight up never pass them. If you only have 1 lane on your side of the road and there's a cyclist taking up the corner, you should obviously wait till it's safe to pass them. Some people will be so scared to pass these cyclists that they'll just wait for so long. What you have to remember is that when you're passing these cyclists, they're usually going pretty slow. So it should be a pretty easy pass. You only need like max 1.5 seconds to pass. You're probably good. Use your signals, check ahead to make sure it's safe to pass, and then go for it. Go for it. Speed up a bit. Go above the limit if you have to a little bit. Make the pass and then get back in. This is not really that dangerous, but it's very annoying. And with anything super annoying, it may cause other drivers to do reckless, dumb decisions. Again, that's their fault, but even if you have a small part in it, you should take accountability, at least partially. For that reason, I'm going to put this in unsafe, okay? Make the pass. Next up, we have traffic marshaling or waving people on when it's not safe or when it's not their right of way. You guys have to stop doing this. Now, I'm all for leaving gaps for side streets when you're on a main road that's like pretty busy with traffic. Sure, let people in there, but that's where it ends. If you are like foregoing right of way and logic and stopping traffic just to let someone through when they don't even have right of way and it's not safe for them to do that, you need to stop. I see people doing this all the time. It's like they're way too nice. They'll start motioning you forward when it just doesn't make sense. You'll be on like a normal road waiting to make your turn, following rules, and they'll be like, okay, red Honda, come forward a bit, 2 feet, okay, stop. All right, white BMW, get up, levitate, do a 360, go back. Like, it's just like, stop, okay? Take your right away and run with it. This is super dangerous. I'm going to put this in highly dangerous. To add on to my point, if you let someone go when they don't have right away and they get into an accident, that person you let go is at fault. So it's a terrible idea to just accept traffic directions from these random people that forego all road law. Always just follow the rules of the road. These people who motion on and they get angry when you don't go, just stop, take your right away and go. This is a highly dangerous thing to do. Next up, oh man, we have slowing down or stopping until it is safe to proceed on highway on-ramps. I will put this in every video if I have to, even if it's completely unrelated. Highway on-ramps are for getting right up to actual traffic speeds and then merging safely. Okay, you have to like gun it. Not quite like floor it, pedal to the metal, but like you should put a lot of acceleration in so that you're well up to speed by the time you're ready to merge from the on-ramp. What some people will do is they'll like kind of yield or like almost come to a stop until they're ready to merge. Like they have to be super careful, find the right gap. This is so dangerous. Cars are going 80, you're going like 10, 20, 0, trying to merge. That's so dangerous. You're going to cause a pile up. This is how accidents happen. This is straight up how deadly accidents happen. I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. Absolutely could be fatal. Next up, we have carefully and slowly passing semis. Now, in general, when you're making a pass, you should have some haste to you, all right? You shouldn't be like barely passing someone like 2 kilometers per hour faster. If you're passing on a highway, like pick it up, like show some urgency, okay? Show some hustle. Semi trucks for other cars are like near death traps, right? We see it with that like tragic event that I think happened in Florida with the semi truck making the U-turn and then just pretty much making a wall and that car crashing into it and the passengers ceasing to exist, which is really sad, okay? And this drives home the point that semi trucks are so so lethal. You have to be so careful about them. When you're passing one on the highway, show some urgency. Speed if you have to a little bit, right? In the passing lane, you should pretty much always be speeding. Get out of these semi-trucks way. I've talked about this before. Some of these points I repeat, but I feel like I need to hammer this one in. Most semi-truck drivers should be like, doing the proper shoulder checks, but on the off chance they merge into you or make a sudden turn, you're done, okay? Respectfully, you're done. I hate to be blunt, but you're done. You have to blaze by these people at a decent pace. For that reason, I'm going to put this in could be fatal. Next up, we have overdoing the turn signals, right? Whenever you're in a parking lot, you're going out at Arby's, whatever. Who goes to Arby's? Whatever you're doing, you just signal, okay, all the time. This is actually good. You should always be signaling. I'm a big signal guy, okay? Whatever you're doing, okay? Signal. Unless you're going in a bend in a road, okay, then you look dumb. But there's zero drawbacks to signaling more than what is standardly accepted. There's infinite reasons to do so. Parking lot, drive-through, roundabout, always signal. Okay, this is actually good. Finally, we have the reverse of the other cyclist one we talked about, which is giving too much space to cyclists. Now, some people have the reverse mentality of the one I talked about before, where as soon as they see a cyclist, okay, it's good to pass. I just got to give as much space as possible and make a super wide turn, and that's just standard procedure, right? No, only pass a cyclist. I said this last time, when it's safe to do so. So a lot of people will go way on the other side of the road, pass a cyclist with 3 meters of gap on a semi-blind corner. It's no, okay? I think there's different requirements for different areas, but the standard, I don't know, is a meter or 3 feet. Leave that. You can duck slightly into the other lane, but stay as close as you can while still keeping it safe, and only do it when there's wide open straight. This is going to go into highly dangerous. If you guys enjoyed that one, you have to subscribe, okay? I'm not one to beg for subscribers, but I have something to entice you guys, the hairline reveal. Who doesn't want to see that? Leave a like, turn on that bell so your phone rings whenever I post, because who doesn't want that? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.